All right, so I got a story here for you guys that is really just a perfect encapsulation of how perverse our capitalist system and our economic system globally here can actually be sometimes, because one of these tobacco companies that is responsible for pushing some of the cigarettes that have led to countless people getting lung cancer and other illnesses associated with smoking cigarettes, while they lied about the data all along the way over decades and decades, is now turning around and trying to buy up a company that produces equipments that will be used in the treatments for some of these illnesses that the cigarette company is responsible for. So here from Richard Wolff, first of all, he says, only in capitalism, tobacco giant Philip Morris profited for decades from cigarettes that caused illness and death inhaled from smoke, and now it wants to buy drug maker Vexura to profit from treating diseases, including those its cigarettes worsen. So let's go ahead and read some of the details here. Tobacco giant Philip Morris raises bid for respiratory drug maker. So it seems like with this new bid they're putting forward, they're going to actually be able to acquire this company. And here's some of the more details here. So tobacco giant Philip Morris has raised its bid to buy respiratory drug maker Vexura to more than 1 billion euros. And Vexura, it makes inhaled medicines and devices to treat respiratory illnesses such as asthma, and counts Novartis and GSK among its consumers. And the Marlboro cigarette maker has now raised its offer to over $2.29 per share after U.S. private equity firm Carlyle offered that $1.3 billion number. So this is a producer of Marlboro cigarettes, one of the largest cigarette companies in the world. And they point out in this article, they produce about 1/10 of the total cigarettes that are consumed globally. So just a little bit more details here. The fresh bid comes after Philip Morris said it could stop selling cigarettes in the UK in 10 years' time as it focuses on alternatives such as heated tobacco, so trying to portray themselves as if they're the good guy in this situation. And the firm indicated it would welcome a government ban on cigarettes, saying, quote, strong regulation was needed to, quote, help the problem of cigarette smoking once and for all. Hold on a second. The firm indicated? So the firm, the company that has been responsible for a lot of the problems associated with smoking and the cancers and the illnesses that it has caused as a result of it over the decades of them lying about the science behind this, is now turning around and saying, oh, well, we would welcome government regulation. Why? Because we're now buying up the treatments that are going to be used to solve some of the illnesses that we are responsible for creating in the first place. And so after saying that, they say, however, the health charity ASH said it was hard to take such claims seriously from the firm responsible for selling over 1/10 of cigarettes globally, like I just said. So, I mean, listen, understand what this is. This is our capitalist system functioning perfectly, right? This is exactly analogous, in my opinion, to how the fossil fuel industry is trying to adapt to climate change right now. So you have a lot of companies, Chevron, BP, Shell, a lot of these big oil-producing, fossil fuel-producing corporations are now starting to see the writing on the wall, and they're starting to recognize that people think climate change is something that we still need to seriously address. And even though they're still, funneling money into the Joe Manchins and Mitch McConnells of the world, and funneling these a lot of money into these campaigns to then bribe our politicians to protect the fossil fuel industry, while they are doing that, they are also recognizing the writing on the wall and starting to try to buy up and participate in the new growing industry of renewable energy. So a lot of these companies that are responsible for some of the worst aspects of consumer marketplaces, in which they directly lie about the consequences of their products. In the case of the cigarette industry, it's cancer causing, lung cancer, it's asthma, it's all of these other illnesses that are associated with that. And with the fossil fuel industry, it would be obviously climate change. And they take these opportunities in which people are starting to turn against their products, and governments are even maybe stepping in to start banning or trying to phase out their products. And they use that as an opportunity to buy up the competition that people are starting to get behind. So in this case, it's treatments for the illnesses that they are responsible for causing in the first place. And then in the case of climate change, it's the buying up a bunch of these renewable energy production facilities in order to make up for the fact that they were causing a lot of the problems with climate change in the first place to begin with. So this is how capitalism works, right? It's profits above everything else. There's no morality. There's no decisions based on what's actually good for the public at all in any capacity. And now we have situations where a lot of these companies that are responsible for some of the most horrific aspects of our consumer marketplaces are now turning around and are going to end up profiting from the problems that they were causing in the first place.